Hey everybody, welcome back. I am so delighted to see you. It seems like it's been too long. It has been way too long. I'm so sorry for the hiatus that we've had apart. But anyway, I am Nina Rodriguez and you are watching Misfit to Teach, where I talk about all things teaching and how to stay mentally, physically, and emotionally fit to teach. If you are just now joining me on this video and you've never seen any of our material before, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Do all of the things so that you can be notified when we come together every week. And just like that, that's it. A whole school year has gone by. This is it. We are finished with another school year. I don't know about you, but for me, this marks year 8. So I am like rounding the corner on my first decade of teaching. I can't believe it. I'm saying that. It's my first decade of teaching, and I couldn't be more grateful. This was a really, really important year because if you've been following along, this was my first year in high school since I transferred from the middle school where I was for the first 7 years of my career. So I'm incredibly grateful. And I have to say, I learned a lot. To some extent, every year that you're teaching, it may as well be a first year because I think no 2 years are exactly the same. And that's definitely the case if you're switching grade levels, if you're switching schools, whatever kind of switch you're making, there's significant changes. So I think no matter how long you've been in the game, there's always new experiences to be had and new challenges to be conquered. It makes it all just incredibly worthwhile and also challenging. So without further delay, and before I wrap up and finish getting the rest of my stuff out of the classroom, I wanted to share with you 5 things that are different, that I didn't realize were so important until I came to high school, in hopes that if I share it with you, you'll have an even smoother transition if you are going into a new school, or if you will be working in a high school, if you've been working in a high school and just looking for some pointers. Whatever your situation is, these are the 5 things that I hadn't thought about. The first important thing, and this is not even just a teacher thing, this is across organizations, no matter what you're doing. I would say it's very important that you don't join the group of negative coworkers. Don't join a negative teacher group that only ever sees the problems and only ever has negative things to complain about and to talk about. Try to stay away from people who tend to be like more gossipy. And now, I'm by no means am I suggesting that I had like a bad experience with that, or that's the group that I acclimated to this year. Not at all. In fact, it was the exact opposite. There were so many teachers here who are really positive, have fostered awesome attitudes about the work they do and about the teaching environment. It's just a really great group here. And so I don't want to muddy those waters by being the negative Nancy or being the one who is just a complainy pants all the time. True enough, in the work of being an educator, in the work of teaching, you are going to hit those highs and lows, and you're going to have things that you complain about, things that upset you, that get under your skin, things that you wish were different. And it's hard not to notice those. It's hard not to want to change those things, but to complain about them and then to immerse yourself in a culture that's doing that same thing, I think is very toxic. It's damaging to your professional psyche, and it shortens your educator lifespan. So as you head into the next school year, I would encourage you to surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are as positive as you, who are as creative as you, who have ideas the way you do, who have hobbies outside of school the way you do, that really just want to have good conversations and have awesome humor, because those are the people that will lift you up when you feel like giving up. Number 2, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, I'm absolutely horrendous with lesson planning, but over the summer, I'm definitely going to iron out some time where I plan some lessons and prepare some materials over the summer. I know that it's a really contentious topic to advocate for being a teacher and working for free over the summer, but with this year in particular, since I was really changing grade levels in a dramatic way, and it was almost a completely different curriculum, I feel like it would have helped me to have more forethought about how not so much what I was teaching, but how I wanted to teach it, instead of so many days kind of hitting the ground running and flying by the seat of my pants. We always hate those lessons, right? Sometimes they're just not all that successful. Your heart is not in it. Things become stale and boring. No. Take some time in the summer while your creative juices are flowing, while you're in a rested state, to think about what you're going to be teaching and how you want to teach it. I think in our downtime, some of our best ideas kind of break free, and the summer is a wonderful time to think about that. You are in no way obligated to iron out your entire curriculum and grading strategy and everything else during your much needed summertime, but it absolutely helps to spend some of that time knocking out some preliminary lesson plans, thinking about your material and the kind of lessons that you want to implement in this upcoming school year. Number 3, and this is for when you're actually in the classroom. Your young adults, your teenage scholars, they're not the same as your elementary scholars, who are not the same as your middle school scholars. You want to talk to this bunch as reasonable, rational adults as much as possible. So many times throughout the school year, I think about the ways that I talk to my middle schoolers, not babying them and not talking down to them, but it was definitely different. The way I've had to adjust the way I come across to these young adults versus how I talk to my middle schoolers, it's almost night and day. And it's crazy because for teaching 9th and 10th graders versus teaching 7th and 8th graders, it's only like a 2 to 3 year difference for some of these kids. But biochemically, one moment, please.
Good afternoon, Patrick Henry High School. Teachers, instructional assistants.
Sorry about that, just getting some end of year announcements. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So true enough, some of these kids are a little bit imbalanced. Some of them come with massive trauma and baggage. Some of them, on the spectrum of maturity, they still haven't gotten to a certain point, and they maybe need to be babied a bit more. But on the whole, by and large, young adults like to be talked to as such. They want to feel like you're leveling with them. They want to feel like you're sort of right here, right? That they have agency and autonomy over their lives, and that what they say matters to you. And so the best way that you can emulate those feelings is to talk to them as mature, growing up people. Ask them questions, make them feel welcome, give them choices, and then allow them to make the choice. And then likewise with that, after they make a choice, allow them to deal with those consequences, but also be prepared to walk with them through those. Remember, to a certain extent, these are very much still children. They don't have it all figured out. They just want to figure it out very much, and we have to support them. And how we set the foundation for supporting them is by first treating them as young adults. Number 4, this is super cliche and it applies across all areas of teaching and all areas of life, but be yourself. These teenagers, it's like they have some kind of radar for fake. They have a alarm system that goes off in their head when they sense that you're being inauthentic or insincere, and it does not resonate with them at all. Just think about on an average school day how many times you hear one of these kids say, "I don't like so-and-so, so-and-so is fake." The last thing you want is for your students to feel that way about you. So the best way to avoid that is to be authentically, fully, unapologetically yourself. Let who you are come through in your lessons, in the way you carry yourself, in the conversations you have with your students, just in your overall day-to-day teaching. What resonates the most with your teenager, young adult students in high school is not so much what you taught, but how you taught it and how you made them feel as you were teaching it. And these kids thrive on authenticity. So be authentically you. Stuff going on in the hallways. There's no children here. You can tell everybody's excited. 5, no matter what school you're teaching at, what grade level you're working with, how long you've been there or how long you've not been there, It's really, really important, especially at the high school level, to foster a good working rapport and relationship with your admin. And I know how contentious that can be. Some of us say, well, I come from a school where the admin is just absolutely awful, or I have been burned by trying to have a good relationship with my admin and they were just a bunch of backstabbers. I don't know what your situation is, and I think we would be foolish to deny the reality that there are some bad apples in the bunch. But on the whole, I think admin come from a place of like wanting to do what's best for their school community and wanting to see that their teachers are thriving. And the best way that you can have a good transition into a high school, or just have a good experience if you're already in one, is to have a good, comfortable, amicable working relationship with your superiors. Not suggesting that you need to be a kiss up or anything like that, but strike up an ongoing joke with one of your admin. Copy them on emails that you have to send to a parent. Involve them in sort of the day-to-day goings on in your class. Maybe you have like an awesome lesson that you want to show off to them and you want it to be part of your evaluation, or you just want to invite them in to come see, maybe for a yearbook picture. There's so many different avenues and ways that you can spin that that would help to bind you in a good way to your boss and to your administration, in a way that when they think of you, or when you come top of mind, they think of a team player, a amicable, effervescent person, a hard worker, a great person to be around, and a person that embodies their school culture. That's the type of teacher that you want to be, or else I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't be in teaching. You certainly wouldn't be teaching at the school that you're in. So do your best this year to introduce yourself, say hi, say good morning, slap on a smile, whether you're feeling it or not, and see if you can just have a good conversation, even a quick conversation with your administrator, and start off on the right foot. So that's it. Those are my 5 things. That's what I noticed about this year that I feel like would have made a difference had I given them more thought at the beginning of the year. Who knew? Drop me a line if you also have some really good tidbits for us. For those who are joining the high school community, maybe you're a first-year teacher who's getting ready to take that plunge, or you've been in the game for a while and you just have a gem that seems to serve you really well in a high school setting. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you back next week before I leave for vacation. But for now, I am going to go join this parking lot drill at 2:30 and head on out after that. Do all you can to stay fit to teach. Be well.